Lesson 256. God is the only goal I have today. Welcome to the Qigong support for A Course in Miracles students. My name is Judith and this is the Lucid Mind Center. And today we are in the Buddha room. We're going to read and contemplate the lesson together, and then I'm going to guide you to a Qigong class which is specially recorded for what is sin, which is the special thought for this period of lessons 251 to 260. Below in the descriptions you're going to find the links to the Qigong classes, and you're also going to find how Qigong can help you as a Course in Miracles student. There's a lot of more information in this description below. Let's begin. Lesson 256. God is the only goal I have today. The way to God is through forgiveness here. There is no other way. If sin had not been cherished by the mind, what need would there have been to find a way to where you are? Who would still be uncertain? Who could be unsure of who he is? And who would yet remain asleep in heavy clouds of doubt about the holiness of him who God created sinless? Here we can but dream, but we can dream we have forgiven him in whom all sin remains impossible, and it is this we choose to dream today. God is our goal. Forgiveness is the means by which our minds return to him at last. Forgiveness is the means by which we remember who we truly are. Forgiveness is the means for us to return back to the awareness of God, of the Creator, of love. If you're new to my channel, I always have to repeat, and even if you have been with me for a while, I just want to remind you that words are just symbols of symbols and twice removed of reality. And then you're going to ask, well, what is reality? Reality is what you are experiencing. That is your reality. And you can influence your reality with your mind. The emotions are the result of your thoughts. And if you allow your mind to wander without control, or if people allow the mind to wander without control, that is where negative emotions manifest and actually kind of hide our virtues such as trust and kindness and patience, all those qualities of a teacher of God, which you can see in the manual for teachers. And I find it also very interesting that many of those virtues of a teacher of God, they're assigned to the 5 elements in Chinese medicines. And it's also very interesting the negative emotions, the distress they have assigned to those elements and those organs in the body. And this is exactly where we are experiencing these negative emotions. So for example, if you take anxiety or like stage fright, it cramps the stomach. And the stomach is connected to the spleen, and this is connected to the element of earth. And earth virtue is trust and confidence. And when we have worry or anxiety, when we are uncertain or have got low self-esteem, this cramping in our stomach or this anxiety we're feeling in our stomach, it actually impedes us experience the virtue of confidence and trust. And you see, forgiveness is the key here, because you have to kind of forgive the situation which you are experiencing, which you seem to be experiencing as worrisome, or which is creating this low self-esteem within you. It's kind of forgiving the situation. So it could be forgiving the people who are involved, who maybe scare you a little bit. Maybe it's the public who is in front of you if you have to go and speak up, or you have to go and defend something, a situation which you are kind of worried about. You have to speak maybe to somebody, you have to speak to the neighbor because he's parking on your plot, and you want to tell him, no, you can't park here, you have to park further there, and it's kind of creating this anxiety within you. So it impedes you to trust that you will find the right words when you meet that neighbor. So you kind of have to get rid of this negative emotion first. And it's like a a snake which bites its tail. If you had the confidence, you wouldn't have the worry. And but because you have the worry, you can't find the confidence. So if it's like a circle of distrust and worry and anxiety, the way to break that particular circle is through forgiveness. And it's in any kind of the circles. So if you take, for example, the liver, this is the wood element, there is anger. And what is hidden behind the anger is kindness and generosity. And the negative emotion is anger and envy and jealousy. And I'm not going to share this with you. This is all mine. And I need it all for myself. Or why do you have more than me? This is kind of the feeling, the negative feeling of the further negative aspect of anger. And if you are able, so the way to get rid of this anger is to forgive the other person that they have more than you, because it's silliness, because the other person is just another version of you in a different human experience. So once we return to oneness, you're going to be able to experience that lifetime if you want to. If you wanted to, you could just experience it. This is like all going to go into kind of a memory bank, like a video. And then you can just pick that life and say, okay, now I want to live that life. This is how I see it, or this is I don't know why I have this certainty within me, but that is kind of how I see this kind of reality. And it's just, I'm not saying that you should take it on, it's just one of the possibilities of how it could be, because we can't remember. And remember, in a few lessons before, it says you cannot understand which is beyond the scope of your perception. And you're going to have to use trust. You're going to have to trust that whatever situation you're finding yourself in right now is the right situation. God is the only goal I have today. This is today's idea. You gotta forgive. Otherwise, you cannot return to this wholeness of yours. So the wholeness is love. This is who you truly are. The spirit, the extension of God, and extension of love. And if you can't experience that today, that means that there is something which you haven't forgiven. And sometimes all it needs is to forgive yourself. Sometimes this is the biggest obstacle. Sometimes you're able to forgive others, but you're not able to forgive yourself. So this is the biggest task you have to learn. And I have recorded a few Qigong lessons about forgiveness, following the instructions of the Course, of how we are to visualize this. And if there is somebody particular in your life who you have got difficulties to forgive to, I suggest that you redo lesson 121. I think lesson 121 is probably one of my favorite lessons when it comes to forgiveness, because it actually describes how to forgive, how to look past the ego behavior of that person. Because what you're doing is you're allowing your ego to react to the other person's ego, instead of looking past ego, no matter if it's within you or within that other person, connecting to your true self, to the love self which you truly are, and to the love self of the other person. If the other person is behaving badly, it's not because they are out to get you, or maybe they are out to get you, your ego, but it's because they don't really know what they're doing. And if you're reacting to their ego, you are reinforcing their ego. But if you are overlooking their ego and actually address their holy self, their true self, their higher consciousness, then different things are going to happen. The scene is going to play out in a different way. So that is why forgiveness is so incredibly important. And according to the Course in Miracles, it is the only method which is going to bring us past that ego thinking. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck in it. So today, if you want to, I have recorded 2 different classes which are about what is sin. One is standing, one is seated. The standing one is about the senses, to pull them inwards and understand that you can repurpose your senses. Means you can repurpose your sight, you can repurpose your smell, you can repurpose your tongue, your speech, you can repurpose of what you're hearing. You can even repurpose of what you're feeling. You can repurpose that. You can repurpose your body. So this is one, but if you don't feel that you are ready there, I would go to lesson 121 and do the meditation. I can't now remember if the meditation, the Qigong class, is part of 121 or if I have separated it. And if you don't have so much time, you either do the seated meditation, which I have recorded for what is sin, or you do another Qigong class, which is shorter, like a 5-minute one, where you can just connect and apply that idea in the Qigong class. All the Qigong classes which I have recorded for A Course in Miracles all have you can apply to any lesson. There is a period to read your lesson or to read the idea and your prayer and to consider or even ask for help from your higher self to figure out what do they actually want to say. So the prayer of this lesson is very short, and this is what I'm going to ask you in the what is sin classes. I'm going to ask you to read that prayer. And it goes like this. And so, our Father, would we come to you in your appointed way through forgiveness. We have no goal except to hear your voice and find the way your sacred word has pointed out to us. Absolutely beautiful. So it says here, the way to God is through forgiveness here. So the way to God is through forgiveness here. Why does it say here? It could be because in this lesson, or it could be in this moment in time, in this particular instant. This is where it takes place. So both the forgiveness and the reconnection to the awareness that you are already in connection with Source, always. You are never not connected. There is no other way. If sin had not been cherished by the mind, what need would there have been to find a way to where you are? Who would still be uncertain? Who could be unsure of who he is? And who would yet remain asleep in heavy clouds of doubt about the holiness of him who God created sinless? So this is both you and the other person. We are both sinless. You are sinless and I am sinless. And when you don't see it, in the other person, then remember that you have engaged with your ego. It's hard. I know sometimes. Here we can but dream. But we can dream we have forgiven him in whom all sin remains impossible. And it is this we choose to dream today. God is our goal. Forgiveness is the means by which our minds return to him at last. And I can see the word choose here. And it is this we choose to dream today. Yesterday's lesson, I misread it a couple of times. And I said, this day I chose to spend in perfect peace. So when I listened to the lesson again, I was, oh my God, I have said it wrong. And it was also very interesting that if you say, this day I choose to spend in perfect peace, or this day I chose to spend in perfect peace, it actually means different. So if I say, this day I chose, this means that I have chosen this day already from somewhere in the past to have the perfect peace. Or if I say, if I choose this day to have perfect peace, this is yesterday's lesson, that means that I'm choosing today to have perfect peace. And I thought it was very fascinating that this is what happened to me in yesterday's lesson. So I've left it. There would have been a chance to re-record it, but I'm actually going to just leave it as it is, because I guess this is how it had to come over. But we can dream we have forgiven him in whom all sin remains impossible. And it is this we choose to dream today. So we can change the way we are dreaming. We can dream that we have forgiven him. And this is what we choose to dream today. God is our goal. Forgiveness is the means. It's the mechanism by which our minds return to him at last. And the prayer, and so, our Father, would we come to you in your appointed way. We have no goal except to hear your voice and find the way your sacred word has pointed out to us. Absolutely beautiful. The reason when I say beautiful is because I got the lesson. I understood it. When I'm not saying beautiful, it's because I haven't got it. I didn't. It hasn't quite sunk in. And sometimes I'm thinking, should I re-record the lesson because I didn't really get it? But there is the thing. There is that agreement I made with myself that I was going to record one lesson per day. So when I don't have the time to re-record, it is because it's a clear signal. This needs to stay as it is. It needs to go out the way it is. Trust. So I'm doing that. Let me know what you think about what I have said, if that resonates to you. I can also tell you that I have got no idea what I'm going to say while I'm reading the lesson. And in fact, when I read it the first time, it almost did not make any sense to me. And then I kind of reread it again, and then I just kind of felt, I sank inwards and I said, okay, so what has this got to do with anything? And then I just started talking. And when I start talking, it is as if my higher self engages and then starts speaking. And I love it, because when it starts speaking, then afterwards I feel connected, I feel better. So I hope this makes sense to you. Any of this, please let me know what you think. And for the Qigong class, you have the standing Qigong class here. You have got the seated Qigong class here. Here you have got What is Sin, which I recommend you read at least once with me or twice during this period. And here you have got the whole list of Qigong classes. Love, light and Qi to you.